My math teacher was so bad at math I ended up teaching the whole class. Actually, it was chemistry, not math. But Mr. Peterson was so dangerous in the lab that I ended up teaching safety to save everyone's lives. I love science. Always have. My mom's a chemist at the pharmaceutical company downtown, so I grew up around proper lab procedures and safety protocols. She taught me how to handle chemicals safely since I was little. When I started AP Chemistry junior year, I was excited to finally do real experiments with proper equipment. First day, Mr. Peterson told us to mix hydrochloric acid with aluminum foil to see what happens. No safety briefing, no equipment check. I raised my hand immediately. Shouldn't we be wearing safety goggles for that and using a fume hood? He waved me off dismissively. It's just a little acid. Don't be so dramatic about everything. I watched in absolute horror as kids started pouring concentrated acid directly onto foil and open beakers on their desks. The reaction creates hydrogen gas, which is highly flammable and potentially explosive. One tiny spark from the Bunsen burners sitting right nearby could have blown up half the classroom and seriously injured everyone. I quietly went around telling classmates to move their experiments away from any flames. They thought I was being paranoid and overly cautious. Some even laughed at me. That night, I told my mom exactly what happened in class. Her face went completely white. He told you to do what without proper ventilation or safety equipment? She made me promise to document everything from now on. So I started taking detailed notes and pictures of every single dangerous thing Mr. Peterson taught us. Week 2, he had us heat unknown chemicals in plastic containers over open flames. The containers melted and released toxic fumes that made half the class dizzy. Week 3, he told us to taste our chemical products to identify unknown substances. Thank God nobody actually did it because I recognized one of them was clearly copper sulfate, which is poisonous. Week 4, he mixed bleach with ammonia during a demonstration about cleaning chemistry. The entire front row started coughing violently from the chlorine gas he accidentally created. By then, several kids were getting weird skin rashes and persistent headaches after every class. Parents started asking serious questions about what was happening in chemistry. That's when Jessica's mom, who's a nurse at the local hospital, came to observe a class. She walked in just as Mr. Peterson was casually telling us to handle liquid mercury with our bare hands for a density experiment. She immediately called the principal and had the entire classroom evacuated. The hazmat team had to come in and properly dispose of the mercury. The next day, the school brought in an outside chemistry expert from the state university to evaluate our lab procedures. Mr. Peterson confidently demonstrated his teaching methods, completely unaware of how dangerous everything was. The expert stopped him after 30 seconds of watching. This is the most dangerous chemistry instruction I've ever witnessed in 30 years. You could have killed these students multiple times over. Turns out Mr. Peterson's actual degree was in physical education. He'd been teaching chemistry for 3 years based entirely on a weekend workshop and a YouTube playlist he'd found online. The school had never properly verified his credentials. The school immediately removed him from the classroom and brought in my mom as emergency substitute until they could hire someone properly qualified. The principal personally apologized to every parent. For the rest of the semester, I got to be her official teaching assistant. She'd have me explain proper procedures to other students since I'd already learned correct technique at home growing up. The best part, when the new permanent teacher arrived in the spring, he said our class was the most knowledgeable about lab safety he'd ever seen. We'd learn more about what not to do than most college students. Sometimes the student becomes the teacher when the teacher never should have been teaching.